Hola, mi gente. I am Jen of On the Block with Jen 6 nights a week, and I'm also one half of Sisterhood Sips every single Sunday, and that's available on all podcast platforms. Today, I have a special guest, okay, who's not even supposed to be here, literally. You're not supposed to be here literally in form, in human form, right?
Yeah.
And you are Dorian from...
I didn't know where I was supposed to be from. I'm from California originally, but I guess
Okay.
I'll claim Vegas for now.
Okay, and you're a personal trainer,
Yeah, I'm a fitness coach.
fitness coach, and also a life coach, right? I would say, because I've seen your
I'm
work.
working towards that, but not officially. But yeah, working towards that. That's my next venture.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, so glad you are here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's go to the beginning.
Okay.
You slid in the DMs with some skates on. You slid in the DMs. Okay, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna explain to the audience why, right?
Yeah.
Sliding in DMs could be very risky,
Always.
right? I find it quite annoying. But women are vain. Women are vain. We're as vain as men are, right? So I'm sorry. I look at the DMs, be like, oh, okay. Let's see what he got to say.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you go past the profile pic test, and then we click on the profile. You know what I mean? You're in the gym, you got a nice body. I'm like, let me read what he had to say. Right? And that's how it works. Listen, men don't like that, but that is just nature.
Yeah.
It is nature. You can't fight nature. Nature always wins, right? Like Jurassic Park, life always finds a way.
Yeah.
Right? So your story, now I was taken aback by your story. Like I was like, oh yeah, great looking man, handsome. But I was like, I started clicking and I was like, holy fuck, he almost died.
Yeah.
He almost died, y'all. For real, for real. I want you to take us there. And that's why I said jokingly earlier, you're not even supposed to be here, but
Yeah.
you're here. Thank goodness. Thank the universe. I'm not religious, so I don't say thank God. But that's just for me. Thank God for y'all. Thank the universe for me. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So it was about 9 years ago. There was just a night where I had drank too much alcohol. And the last thing I remember, I was on a party bus with some friends. And then about 3 days later, I woke up and I was in the hospital bed. So apparently, we went from the party bus to back to a friend's house. We're on the 4th floor of the building, and I ended up falling from a 4-story window. Yeah. So, I mean, didn't really know how or what happened. Don't remember at all. Because like I said, it was party bus, and then like magic, I woke up in the hospital. But based off things I put together, the room I was in had a broken door. And when I was in there asleep, I had the door shut, and I couldn't get out. So what I pieced together in my mind is I think I panicked, got anxiety because I couldn't get out, and thought I could climb down. So thinking I could climb down from the 4th floor, because the window was at the corner of the building to where I thought I can climb down. And I'm thinking that's what happened. And then obviously I didn't make it. Security found me, my friends found me, tried to do CPR, and then they took me to the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you had no witnesses. There were no friends that say, hey, you were jumping up and down and fell over the balcony. It was just you
Just me.
on the ground, and then everybody ran out.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
So they heard me knocking on the door, like I was trying to get out in the middle of the night. So they went, and when they opened the door to the bedroom, I wasn't nowhere to be found in the room. So then they saw me out the window. They looked and saw me, and then they just ran downstairs.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
is.
even imagine looking out of a window and seeing oh my God, it gives me chills. Were you high? Were you drinking?
Yeah. I was drunk, high, everything.
Okay. What were you on? Let the people know.
I don't think I did any drugs that night.
Okay.
I was smoking weed. I was drinking tequila. I was drinking Hennessy. I was drinking everything. Could remember being on the party bus, taking shots and all that. I can remember that, but that's about it. It's the last thing I remember. And I just got too drunk that night.
Now, did your friends say, yo, you were lit, so we understand how you fell out the window?
Nah, nobody said I was anything out of the normal from being drunk. But they just said, yeah, we were drinking, we're upstairs, you got too drunk, you fell asleep, so we put you in the extra spare room to go to bed, in a sense. And then I woke up in the middle of the night. They didn't expect that. And then boom, that happened.
And how high up were you again?
4 floors.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now, how broken up were you? Because you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, no.
4 floors. How broken up and let me ask you, curious,
What's up?
were you fit back then?
Not necessarily. I wasn't
Okay.
working out how I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I was very much partying, doing coke, in a party phase of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too healthy. But I mean, I was small because I was doing drugs, but I wouldn't say I was necessarily fit.
Okay, because I was automatically thinking, well, he's fit, so maybe his body was able to, you know what I mean, sustain the impact,
Yeah.
but you weren't even fit. So this is just like some miracle of some
Yeah.
sort. So 4 stories up, how broken up were you?
Pretty broken. Like I had to lay in the hospital bed for about 3 weeks. I couldn't walk for a while. I broke probably most of my ribs on my right side of my body. I fractured my spine, had some brain swelling. And like I said, I couldn't even move. Like I was in the hospital bed and I couldn't really move my arms. My mom had to feed me food and cut everything up for me. And that was for about a week before I could start using my arms again. So I was pretty messed up.
Yay, mom.
Yeah.
See, the moms, we always, listen, the moms always show up.
Always.
Were you dating someone at the time?
Something like that. Not as, kind of, yeah. We're kind of off and on. And it's funny, well, it's not funny, but we had gotten into an argument. And that night, she had sent me some crazy texts like, "I hope you die," this and that. And
No way.
yeah. So when I woke up and that happened, she just felt so bad and was like obviously just devastated because all the things that was her last words to me, and I literally almost died. But yeah, so we were kind of off and on, but nothing too serious at the time.
I keep trying to tell people women are magic. Okay, like we wish people ill and then it happens. Like we don't know how to completely tune into it, but I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's why Kevin Samuels is dead, because he had millions of women hating on him. That's bad juju. But anyway, don't mind me. So did you? Obviously, she showed up to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
This woman.
Yeah.
Now, was she crying? Was she torn up about it? Was she like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry"?
Yeah, definitely apologetic of what she said, her last thing she said to me. And then during that time when I was in the hospital, there was nights where I would just get real bad anxiety. I was like literally scared to go to sleep. So I didn't sleep for like those 3 weeks. I didn't get no sleep, maybe 2 hours a night, if that, just the fear of going to bed. And she would come some nights and then just sit with me and just, hang out with me because I was scared to be alone. The nurse is there, but it's a little different.
Yeah, absolutely different. Well,
Yeah.
that was sweet. That was sweet of her to atone in that way. Now, did you guys end up getting together after that? Like, all right, now it's official.
No. It was already towards the end of it.
Okay.
So that kind of helped me wake myself up and make some changes in my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
So were you like, okay, I almost died. Now I'm not gonna live halfway. Now I don't even want you anymore.
Something like that, yeah. Because it was, like I said, it was already on the toxic end of thing. It was not a good situation. So before the accident happened, it was already going towards an end.
I would say so, because she's like, I hope you die and all of that.
Yeah.
I would say it's towards the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I'm like, all right, once I got healthier and stuff, I was like, all right, this is definitely something I need to be involved in because I literally almost lost my life. So I think it's time to make some changes.
Now, you said you woke up days later, but you weren't in a coma or anything.
Yeah, I was.
Right?
I was in a
You were
medically induced coma. So they put me in a coma, I guess, to help me heal or whatever. And during that time period, they let my mom know, like, hey, we don't know if he's going to wake up. If he does, he might not remember you or he might be in a vegetative state. So there was a lot of unknowns. So for those days, I was fighting for my life in a sense. And, it's wild because during that time, I remember having like vivid dreams.
Okay.
To where when I woke up, I was like confused because the dreams seemed so real during that time period when I was in a coma. And then I woke up and obviously I remembered my mom. I remembered everything up until the party bus. That was the last thing I remembered.
Okay, so I can't ask you what it's like to be in a coma because you're in a coma. However, you were saying you dreamt. You dreamt a lot vividly.
Yeah. I had some wild dreams. One in particular, for whatever reason, I was in prison. In the dream, yeah, I don't know. And my cellmate was Joe Budden. You know who Joe Budden is, right?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
We love Joe Budden.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, we had beef in there. And have you ever seen? I'm sure you have. Have you seen Belly?
Of course. Mm-hmm.
The guy at the end, the Jamaican guy, the crazy Jamaican guy.
Yes.
So he was the kingpin of the prison.
Oh my.
Yeah. So it was like this whole thing. To me and Joe Budden were beefing. And can't remember anything else more than that, but I do remember that was the main thing. Was me and him were beefing. He was my cellmate. I was like, bro, what's your problem?
So you were dreaming in feature film.
In a sense, yeah. And I don't know why, of all things, that was a dream. I don't know. It's so crazy.
I actually dreamt that I dated Andrew Tate last night.
Interesting.
Right? Which is crazy because I don't fancy him, right?
Really? Sure.
But no, I think he's good looking.
Yeah.
But then he's like, when you see a beautiful woman and you're like, oh, when you opened your mouth, it was horrible. So he's like that where he's good looking, but I'm like, I couldn't sit across and have a conversation with him without feeling like strangling him.
Okay.
Not that I wouldn't talk to him, but I'm like, I know I'm going to feel like strangling him, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's weird when you have these vivid dreams of things you're not really thinking about. I hope one day you sit with Joe Budden and tell. I really do. I really hope you sit with him one day and tell the story.
Squash the beef. You're like, hey, man, why? You know what I mean?
Squash the beef.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you didn't actually pass away. You didn't die at all, right?
No.
So I can't ask you, did you see the gates? Did you see your relatives? Did you?
The light? No, I didn't see nothing like that.
Okay. So as far as you know, it was just a deep sleep.
Yeah, just a deep sleep.
Okay.
Like knocked out. Probably the best sleep I've ever gotten.
Oh my God. Your mom must have went through hell.
Yeah, definitely.
Because to hear your baby may not remember you or walk or talk, it's devastating. So did your mommy have a support system? I'm all about the moms, y'all.
Kinda. I mean, for the most part, it's just me and her out here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
She was definitely by her, my younger sister as well. So that was pretty much some more support system she had. She had to take time off from work just so she can be there with me the first few days, first week or so, when everything had first happened. And as I progressed, she was able to not have to come as much to the hospital and be able to take time and go home and sleep. And those days were hard because, like I said earlier, I was scared to be with myself or scared to even go to bed. So there was nights where I'd just be scared and crying because I was by myself. And I remember I was telling the nurse, I was like, nurse, I need help. Like, I'm about to pass out. And she's like, well, baby, you in the right place. I was like, damn. I was like, all right, I guess you got a point, but
you're already laying down.
Yeah, there was nights where I literally just real bad anxiety. Just because, like I said, I was just fearful because I never expected that to happen to me. So moving forward for a while, I was fearful of a lot of things because I was like, damn, I didn't expect that to happen. What else can happen to me in life?
I see. So that was part of the trauma. And you shared on your Instagram some of the pictures of you in the hospital. Where can people find you on Instagram?
At Dorian Wormsley.
Okay, how do you spell your last name? How do you
WARMSLEY.
Okay, cool. Because I'd like people to go see your Instagram and follow you and all that and support you. Look out for your mamas, okay? Love on your mamas because we the ones that are there when nobody else is there. We go through hell worrying
100%.
about our kids, you know what I mean? So obviously you went through a huge change after that experience. So when you came out of it, can you tell me briefly what you were doing before or how you looked at life before and then how you looked at life after that, right? Because
it's interesting because on Facebook, they have Facebook memories.
Yes.
So I like them now because there's things I forget that I was saying and doing. And it was around that, it was literally months leading up into that accident to where some of my posts were very motivational and very inspirational type quotes as though I was making that change. Because before that accident happened, I wasn't doing nothing in my life in a sense. Was dating a girl here and there, was doing drugs and literally just partying. So I was trying to make changes. I remember that. So when I look back on it, it's just wild to see that's who I ultimately became now, almost 10 years later. But while I was in the hospital, that same girl, she had introduced me to the book, The Secret.
Okay.
Yeah, have you read it?
No.
No, really?
I have not read it. I skimmed through it and then I watched the videos.
You can watch it I think it's on Netflix too. It's like a movie.
Right.
But initially I was kind of like, that seems a very whatever.
Hokey. It's hokey.
Exactly. But I was open to it because like I said, I was having anxiety every night and I needed something to help me just cope with that or get through it. So I would just read it, and it helped me change my perspective on life and how I thought about things. And obviously after going through that, it got a little dangerous because I started to think I was almost invincible in a sense.
Really?
Well, I was like, well, what else? I didn't die, I survived. I'm like an X-Man, I was kind of not scared to do anything. Yeah.
So you went from in the hospital room being afraid of everything and what else could happen to me to now nothing can happen to me.
Almost.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, almost. But when things do get on tough, or I do feel myself crying over spilt milk or anything minor or anything, or I just remember back to that point of being in that hospital bed, not being able to move or anything. And it's a great reminder, and I just snap out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great point in life for me to go back to whenever I feel something can't be done. So it very much made me very much more so optimistic, and always seeing the glass half full moving forward in life with a lot of things. Because I'm like, man, I wasn't supposed to make that. I know people who die off way less circumstance. I met a girl, I trained her one time, told her my story, and she was like, wow, my brother committed suicide off like the first floor. And I'm like, whoa. You know what I mean? And I've seen her different stories. And, 9 months after my accident, one of my closest friends, he ended up passing away. Yeah, he was one of my closest friends. He would always check on me when I was in the hospital. He had an alcohol-induced accident to where he inhaled his own vomit in his sleep. And we got the call and he was on life support. Very similar to my situation, to where I was on life support, same things. Like, he might wake up, he might not. In my head, I was like, well, I made it through a 4-story window. You know what I mean? I was doing nothing in my life. Here he is, kids, job, doing good things. He's going to be okay. He ultimately didn't make it. So at that point, I started to realize, like, I got to start being more intentional with things, because that easily could have been me. And I almost feel like, I don't know. I want to make sure I'm doing things because I made it and he didn't, like, just out of respect for him. Like, man, if he didn't get to make it, I did. I need to make sure I'm making the most out of life, because that could have been me. So that's kind of how I've been pushing forward and what drives me as I go through life now.
Yikes. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's horrible. I've done a couple of shows on men and mental health and things like that. Because, men, you have to force them to go to the doctor. You got to force them to go to therapy. But I think now men are being more open to it, right? Mm-hmm. Have you seen a therapist to deal with your trauma at all?
I have not seen a therapist. Mm-hmm. I do know it's something I want to do down the line. I do eventually need to do. As of now, I've been working with my life coach for about 6-7 months. So I never had therapy, so I'm not going to compare it, but she's helped me notice and see things to help dig deeper into the emotional side of things. And it has helped me a lot with those emotional issues.
Okay, so that's kind of like therapy.
Yeah.
A life coach is kind of like therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So you work out?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I saw your page.
What?
He's lying. He's lying. He works out. What made you get into fitness? Was it the accident?
Kinda. Like, I worked out here and there always. Like, I played sports in high school, but when I was going through rehab recovery after my accident, that was hard, because it's a lot of, it's very humbling going from being an active young 24-year-old to now I can't even walk out the house by myself. So that was very humbling, and the process of it, going to therapy 2-3 times a week and slowly progressing, I enjoyed it. I was like, man, I think I want to help people who are going through things like that, because I made it through it and help them get better. But I don't like school. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go to school and try to be a physical therapist. It's a lot of stuff. I was like, you know what? What's something I can do that's similar in a way? And I was like, I could be a trainer. I could use fitness as a way to help others who are, at rock bottom, or they feel like rock bottom, or feel like they can't get over that hump. You know what I mean?
Now, did you go to school for personal training? Fitness training?
Yeah, I went through a certification program, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think that's very, very smart, because I'm not a school person either.
Yeah.
I'm very wise. I pick up things quickly, but I'm like, I think the same way. I think people should consider that, like, because a lot of people aren't into school, but there are gifts that they can give other people and help other people. And sometimes they get turned off because they're like, I don't want to get a certification. I don't want to get a degree for it. So it's nice that you shifted to, like, all right, I'm not going to go all the way to physical,
Therapy.
Right, physical therapy, but I can do this and still help people. So I think that's a great thing. I want to lighten that up a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
And let's talk about, because this is On the Block with Jen 101, okay? So I want to talk about dating a little bit. Are you single right now?
I am, very much so.
You are, okay, very much so. Does that mean there's a couple of girls in the contacts that you call on a dry night?
A dry night, I'm weak. No, there's nobody.
There's absolutely nobody.
No.
Okay.
I'll go on dates here and there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, no, nobody to call on late at night and like that. Nah, there's nothing going on.
So are you having sex right now?
No.
You're not having any. When was the last time you had sex?
When's the last time I had sex?
Yes.
Past few weeks.
You're having sex. Like, he's having. You see how men are. Do you see how men are?
I'm giving you specific timelines.
He's. I'm not having sex. When's the last time? A couple weeks, a couple days, two
hours.
days ago, a few hours ago. I love it. Okay, so is that a potential partner for you, or is that casual?
That's nothing.
Oh, it's nothing. It's
No,
just
this is not nothing. It's a previous situation, I guess I'll say.
okay, so it's just.
I'll say it was casual.
Okay, so it's for
It
her, it's
was.
familiar dick, and for you, it's like it's just something lingering. But you guys aren't like, hey, me and you.
No, nothing
Okay.
like that.
Okay, good. Are you having protected sex?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you said.
What?
You mean like she's on the pill, or you rubbering up? Because you
What?
hesitated.
You said protective. That's the only way it can be protective.
Okay, all right. I saw you hesitate a little.
Drink water.
Yeah, have some water. Have some water. Okay, so when you slid in the DMs, which is perfectly fine, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was getting on you because you had asked me what. You said, would you like to go do what?
Lunch or a coffee date?
Right, lunch or coffee date.
Yeah.
And I was like, because the coffee date thing with me,
yeah.
it's a big thing, but here's why, right? Because many moons ago on YouTube, I was talking to this guy on a panel, and he was like, oh, would you go for a coffee date? And I said, no, I would not go on a first date, as a coffee date. And everybody, it just went ablaze. The dude went on Twitch and did like a 5-hour stream on me because I said I would not accept a coffee date, right? However, I think there are levels, and like when we started out speaking, there are levels, and there's a woman's nature, right? So there are men that can ask for a coffee date, and then there are men that can't, right? And I think the men that can't get mad at the men who can, because we've heard it said, right? Like, oh, she was giving it to him for nothing, for free, and I gotta pay. Well, that's life. There are levels. I mean, that's just life, right?
Yeah.
I can't walk into Victoria's Secret and be like, hey, I'm 34, 24, 34 measurements. I want to walk on the runway. And they're like, well, no, ma'am, you're 5'3".
Yeah.
Right? So there are levels, and you have to accept there are levels. So why initially, because here's what I think. Coffee dates are just men that are cheap and unimaginative, or they don't want to invest, right? They want to casually invest, right? Like, oh, I'll just take her for coffee in case I don't like her. It's just a cup of coffee. Now, why did you ask me for coffee or lunch?
So for me, honestly, it's my go-to of things, because for me, when it comes to that kind of setup, it's not always, I go for the genuine connection of it, because it doesn't have to be a romantic thing. It could turn into just business, coming on your show like this, just a genuine connection of friendship. And based off that one conversation or that sit down, it can determine different things. Like, okay, we can hang out again, or we can get on some business. It doesn't necessarily have to come off or be romantic every time. I very much, when I do try to date and go into those things, I go with that mindset of it. I don't want it to be ultimately, okay, it's going to be a romantic thing. Because for me, if I go too head on with that kind of thought process of it and it doesn't turn out romantic, I could possibly lose out on the possibility of just a genuine connection as a friend, business partner, those kind of things.
I love that. Yeah. See, you would get booty because you're nice.
I'm honest, that's why.
Right, and you're honest.
Yeah.
Now, everything you just said, we can't do that over filet mignon? You can't decide whether I go in a friend box or a girlfriend box over filet mignon?
I don't see why not, no.
Okay, but you told me lunch or coffee.
Basically because based off my sleep schedule.
Oh, blame it on the sleep schedule, y'all. You hear that, ladies?
I like to be in bed at 7:30.
Okay.
And I try to do things earlier in the daytime.
Okay.
Also, yeah, early in the daytime. Because in the past, when I used to date, because I don't drink anymore. So in the past, I used to always use, let's go get drinks or whatever. And it always ultimately turned into the same cycle of things. We meet, let's go get drinks. We get a little tipsy. We might hook up or something. Then we just become hookup people for a few weeks and then fall off, never really truly even knowing each other. Everything's always based off drinking and those type of things. So we're more so just physically attracted to each other, not even really knowing the true person inside. So I try to avoid or get away from steering from that way when I used to date over 2 years ago.
That's great. But
Yeah.
it sounds like maturity and wisdom.
Trying to.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so you're off the hook for the coffee. But it's only because you cute. Don't get no funny ideas, y'all. Do not slide in my DMs about some coffee.
That was so funny.
Looking like a Joe Pesci or like a
Pesci.
don't do it. Don't do it. Because it's women think coffee is synonymous with he's just cheap or he's just
Yeah.
trying to get laid for cheap, right? But again, I just think there are levels. But you approached me. You seemed like a nice person. I was like, he's cute. I'll probably go for. I don't drink coffee, by the way.
Yeah.
So even if we did the Starbucks, I'd be like, I want the
do
vanilla
Starbucks.
chai. You don't like Starbucks? No.
No.
What's wrong with Starbucks?
There's nothing wrong with it, but I just prefer, I don't know, like a real ideal coffee shop. You know what I mean?
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, it's more than just Starbucks drive-through.
All right. Okay, now we talking.
See?
Now we talking. Okay, that's cute. You mean like those little coffee lounges and stuff like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, get a cool little latte. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Decaf if you need to, because you know.
Right. All right, guys. Okay, are you listening? Because when we hear coffee, we think McDonald's drive-through or Starbucks.
Man, nah.
So there you go. Think of a little coffee lounge if you must. Now, how do you feel? Let's say you was trying to woo a woman, right? Or do you always approach women like, I don't know if this is going to be romantic or friends, so let me just do coffee? Or do you see women that you're like, I need to get that in my life? Do you ever look at women that way or no?
I haven't. I can't say I have in the past.
Okay.
I consider the new phase of me is like the last 2 years since I've been sober. The last 2 women I dated, it was never. Oh, actually, it was one girl. One girl I dated about a year ago. It's funny because we dated because she asked me to be on her podcast initially, but she actually was helping me do one of my charity events. So we kind of hit it off, and then we went to see. I got tickets to go see Joe Coy, so we went to a comedy show.
Okay.
So that's initially kind of how we started dating, and after that we kind of just hit it off, enjoyed each other's company, hung out more, and then that's just how I let out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
32.
32. Oh, you're a baby.
Oh, there we go. I'm 33 in April.
He's a baby. Should I cougar, guys? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Should I cougar? Should I go on that coffee
With
date?
the 100 emoji.
Right? Okay, let me know either the 100 emoji. Let me know if I should cougar with Dorian and go for that coffee date at the coffee lounge, right? At the coffee lounge. You guys let me know. And I promise you, it'll be completely up to you. If you say yes, I will go. If you say no, we'll be friends and we'll podcast.
Yeah.
We'll pod, right?
It's a win-win.
Okay. All right. See, we'll leave it up to the people. I'm about the
Yeah.
people. We'll leave it up to the people. You guys let me know because I'm single.
Okay.
Right? But I'm a lot older than 32.
What's that mean?
Okay. Nothing, apparently.
Yeah. 35 plus is my bracket.
Oh, well, hey, I'm way above 35. So, hey,
But
man. Okay.
you make the cut.
Okay. Oh, I made the
Might get you 2 lattes the way you acting.
2. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, you are single. Now, are you currently looking for a significant other? You're 32.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about marriage? I'm anti-marriage, and that's a long story. Check out my other episodes for that. But how do you feel about marriage in general?
So for me, it's not a necessary. I'm saying necessary. It's not. I must get married one day or anything like that.
Okay.
That could play part because I wasn't raised in that kind of household to where my mom wasn't married and wasn't around. I never thought big on it. I'm not against it necessarily. Like I said, it's not a must for me.
Okay, so you don't see yourself sometime in the future on one knee with the ring in the box.
As of now, no.
Okay.
No.
All right, cool. Because I'm not a marriage person.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm like, it's just. In my opinion, there are more cons than pros for both parties, unless before y'all get started, unless you're raising children. I think it's very important if you have children to have mommy and daddy. And if you can't be in the same house, at least involved. Right? Because sometimes parents can't live under the same roof, and that's fine. But at least they should both be involved, I think, 100%. Do you have children?
I do not have kids, no.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Let me know in the comments again if you want me to go on the coffee date. I'm like, because a lot of guys, it's funny, even my age have little children. And I'm like, I'm not a stepmommy.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I love kids. I
Yeah.
love kids. Like, you take me to the park. I do charity events, things. I love children. But yeah, I'm not stepmommy.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. So slide in his DMs. You see, he's single, and he'll get you to 2 lattes.
You know what I mean?
If you're hot, right? So I'm just curious, what made you? Because my Instagram page is quite wild, I think, right? Well, I don't know if it's wild, but it's controversial. Like I've said some things that are off-putting to some people. Like I'm not religious. I don't believe in holidays. I don't believe in marriage. There's a lot that goes on, right? So what made you slide in my DMs? Were you like, yeah?
I was like, man, it was a hot little Puerto Rican. Okay.
Oh.
You know what I mean? A lot of personality.
Okay.
And those ideas you have, I like that because it's outside of the box. It's not like everybody else. Because I feel like a lot of people live in just a conditioned mind of they were raised a certain way, so they feel like I got to go to school, go to college, get a degree, married, house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not. There's people. Go ahead, do what you want to do, but I don't feel like that. I like to question everything and think my own way. I'm very hard-headed. Like you could tell me the sky's blue, I'm gonna ask you to prove it first. You know what I mean? To a certain extent. You know, I'm not gonna say the Earth's flat or anything, but that's kind of how I like to think. So it's cool to see other people on that same wavelength, where they're not so worldly. You know what I mean? Doing what everybody else is doing the same way. They have their own thoughts, own views. Because I just feel like throughout our whole life, we're taught to live and be a certain way. And now we're older, there's more information now. You kind of make your own way. And I don't think there's no right or wrong. So that's ultimately kind of what it was attractive also.
I love that. You were speaking my language, Dorian, because that's my whole life. Like, I'm a rebel with a bajillion causes. I'm always questioning, why Christmas every 12 months? Why Valentine's Day every 12? You guys are like on a human hamster wheel, and they put the calendar in front of you, and it's like January, February, March, year after year after year. Your entire life, I think, to me, is a very sad life. You don't question it. You don't create your own traditions, your own holidays. You just follow the cattle, and I refuse to live like that. We're here for a minute. You know what I mean? And we don't know how long. Look what happened to you.
100%.
You know what I mean? But you made it, and thank goodness. But we just don't know, and I refuse to spend my life just, moving along with the cattle. Go to school, get a 401k, get married, have kids. I just can't. And I was part of that cattle for many, many years. Like you said, Facebook memories. When I look back on my memories, I was like, oh my God, I used to be religious. Like, oh, you know what I mean? It just makes me cringe now. But, we get older, technology gets better, science gets better. We start discovering new things. So it's like, to me, it's kind of sad to stay stuck when it's like, look, we've proven what you believed no longer exists with scientific fact. And some people they will not budge. They will not budge. But Dorian, thank you very much. You guys let me know, should I cougar with Dorian?
One more time? What is that? Go ahead. That's a cougar. Okay. I like it.
That's a Puerto Rican cougar. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us yet again on The Block with Jen one-on-one. This is Dorian. You guys know where to find him. I will leave it in the caption, right? Are you okay? If they slide in your DMs,
come on. Let's conversate.
Okay, there you go. All right, guys. So thank you so much. Leave a like and a subscribe, and stay tuned to Sisterhood Sips every single Sunday, and On the Block with Jen all week long. We do 6 nights a week. Bye, guys.
Hasta luego.